how significant a moment is this for the company?
It's a huge milestone for us, Ed. We were the first licensed producer in Canada to have a production, cultivation, manufacturing license outside of Canada when we received that license in Portugal. And over the course of the last year and a half, we've been building out a facility. We've ramped up to 150 employees there. This year, we've been building inventory, and this is a milestone because it's the first of many exports that we'll make from Portugal to other countries within the EU.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about. I mean, look, $3.3 million worth is a significant amount, but is this a one-off order, or are there other similar things in the pipeline that you can talk to us about?
Oh, this is just the first of many. So this relationship with Canada Medical Pharma in Germany, we hope to continue that with a framework that we've signed for additional imports into Germany in the coming quarters. Currently we export from Canada to Ireland, the United Kingdom, Germany, Croatia, Czech Republic, Cyprus, and we're adding additional EU countries on a regular basis. We expect to add 4 to 6 before the end of the year. But in coming quarters, rather than export from Canada, we plan to export from our facility in Portugal within the EU.
What's the difference in cost for you manufacturing in Portugal versus Canada and exporting from there?
It's significantly lower. Obviously, shipping costs are significantly lower. There's much better weather in Portugal than there is in Canada. We grow in a state-of-the-art greenhouse, glass house in Portugal. We also grow outdoors in Portugal. Right now, we're currently cultivating about 60 acres of cannabis, THC cannabis, outdoors, which also lowers costs. You have lower labor costs in Portugal as well, and you have tariff-free access to the European market.
So look, we've got to talk about the share price. Obviously been under significant pressure recently, down about a third just in the last week. Also, you have about a third of the company's float out on short interest. How do you as a CEO prove them wrong?
I'm a very large shareholder in the company. I'm also a large shareholder through a private equity firm called Privateer Holdings, and we take a really long, patient view on this industry. It's an emerging growth industry. Our revenues doubled from Q1 to Q2. We expect to see continued revenue growth in coming quarters. And we're seeing country after country. 41 countries now have legalized medical cannabis. I expect to get to 80 over the next 2 years in terms of medical cannabis, and we only have 2 countries that have legalized cannabis for adult use, Uruguay and Canada. I expect 4 more countries to legalize for adult use over the next year or so. And so this paradigm shift that we're seeing globally in terms of cannabis legalization, it's just starting. And so we continue to invest in the future. We expect revenues and our profit margins to increase in
But
coming
Brendan,
quarters.
isn't that part of the issue right there, that so much of this is good for the top line? As you say, you can continue to grow. You're running into this open space with the new markets. But the investment community seems to want to see profit. There's a big question about that. When is this company going to become profitable?
I think the way we're looking at it is profitability in individual countries and individual regions. If we look at Canada, which is a more mature market compared to anything else we've seen, we could be profitable there in the next quarter or 2 on a country-by-country basis. When we look at Europe, in a place like Germany and Portugal, we could be profitable there in the next 2 quarters, 3 quarters, and so we'll continue to invest in new regions, in new countries, but on an existing basis, in terms of our existing footprint, we see profitability within the next half year to year. And so that's how we'll continue to think about
for the whole company, or just in certain regions. I mean, I guess my question is, how do you marry all those things together so that you have it right at the bottom line for the whole company?
I think we need to continue to manage the global revenue growth and this footprint that we have. I think we have a first mover advantage around the world. We're in 13 countries on 5 continents. We'll continue to build out that global infrastructure. We have obviously deep knowledge in moving medical cannabis around the world and entering new markets. And I think that advantage, that first mover advantage, will not only lead to increased revenues, revenues, but it will increase our gross margin, which we've seen over the last 2 quarters, and we expect to continue to see improvement in gross margin in coming quarters.